Hey, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We're a minimalist couple choosing a more intentional way of living, one decision at a time.
After burning out from the nonstop grind of running our business, we realized adventure doesn't have to look loud, expensive, or extreme to matter.
Sometimes it looks like letting go, starting over, asking harder questions, or figuring things out as you move along.
We discuss life's challenges, the small shifts that change everything, and the everyday choices that help us live with less physical clutter and mental noise.
You'll hear honest conversations, thoughtful stories, and reminders that a meaningful life is built in the in-between moments, not just the highlight reel.
This is the Arner Adventures podcast, where life itself is the adventure. Well, hello, everybody.
Hi out there.
We are excited to be welcoming you into March. It's finally March, which means spring is on the way.
Oh yeah, spring's on the way, and spring has welcomed me with a bad cold.
So yeah, Jerry's going to sound a little funky today on the podcast, but he is here because we have a really important topic to talk about as we are welcomed into spring, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. You don't need a spring glow up.
You sure don't. You know that pressure we all feel. Spring, we talk about how the beginning of the year, everyone feels this pressure to be new year, new you. And spring is similar where, spring is kind of really the dawning of the new year where things wake up and things are growing and blooming and it's exciting. But in advertising and marketing, there's a strong push every March for people to feel like they need to be a better, shinier version of themselves. And so we wanted to talk about that and how there is a pressure to reinvent yourself. And we don't want you to feel that. So we are going to have a little conversation about it because we've been talking about it. And, things that help us, we always want to share and hope that they help you.
Oh, definitely. And that's our business, is sharing the things that we've learned along
Sharing
the way,
is
right?
caring.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. So before we get started into the episode, if you would please take a moment and give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you're listening to us on. It really does help us out to push us to other people who may enjoy content like ours. And it's just a really great way of supporting the podcast. For those of you who have done it or even that you're tuning in, thank you so much. This really, really supports us in a way that you really have no idea is helping us. So we thank you.
Oh, we thank you a lot, and let's get on with the new things that that we want for spring. We used to think we weren't cruise people.
Until Virgin Voyages came along.
Exactly. It's adults only, sustainably minded, and the food? Let's just say it ruined us for every other ship.
No kids, no crowds, no cheesy formal nights. It's travel that feels elevated and relaxed, but it's the vibe you want.
Whether you're exploring the Caribbean, the Med, or somewhere new, Virgin Voyages just gets it right.
You can grab our savings access key at arneradventures.com/virgin-voyages and start planning your next getaway.
Trust us, it's not your typical cruise. It's a voyage.
Well, yeah, let's talk about some of the things that people may be pressured into having in the spring.
Yeah, well, a new body, a new routine, new goals, new wardrobe, new mindset. All that stuff is kind of comes along with spring. People want to look good in their spring clothes, so there's the new body, I think a new mindset comes along with it a lot, just because people are reinvigorated by the weather and all that stuff. It's like the person you were in winter was just a rough draft that needs fixing now.
Yeah, and we really want to challenge that idea. Spring doesn't mean you have to reinvent yourself. You're not a project that needs to change with the seasons. I mean, seasons do change with, like we've talked about in another episode about how if you're in a season right now, just know it will change, but you are not a project that needs to be reinvented. And so let's talk about why spring always comes with that pressure to reinvent yourself.
There's a whole industry focused on convincing us that spring is the time to upgrade our lives. The glow up culture is everywhere, making us feel like we're missing out if we're not changing.
Yeah. And when everything outside is blooming, it's easy to feel like we should be changing too. Yeah. But nature takes its time. It grows slowly. You don't put some seeds out and all of a sudden the next day it's a flower or a plant. We can take our time too.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with wanting to grow, y'all. The problem is the belief that growth must be big and fast and obvious. People are pressured with growing and changing and reinvention. This gives you permission to take that pressure off.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
that is our mission.
That's what we're doing.
Is to give you the permission to take the pressure off.
Uh-huh.
So, like I've said before about contentment is underrated, so is maintenance.
Yep.
Maintenance is underrated. So we don't often celebrate just keeping things going, paying the bills on time, going on a walk, keeping your commitments, continuing habits that already support you. Sometimes keeping up with the basics might seem boring, but it's actually really powerful, and it's what gives us stability in a time, a place, a world that always feels like it needs to be changing and needs to be reinventing. So, if we talk about when we left our 24/7 business, we didn't reinvent ourselves. It was a big lifestyle change, but we just changed what success meant, slowed things down, focused on new priorities. And that kind of big change was what we needed then, but we're not trying to change everything all the time. It's like you say, Jer, about how it's always a work in progress. We're always just trying to do a little bit better. We're focused on keeping what works for us.
Yeah, that's right. It can feel really grounding, and I just like to evolve things, things and keep the little things going. And then sometimes you have your breakthroughs and you do bigger things and surprise yourself. But we take for granted the little things that we do day to day.
Totally.
That's what really adds up and gives your life a little zing. So if you can feel really grounded, and if you can look at your life and feel good about it, and then you don't have to tear it all down. You can just think you're growing. That's what's important.
Yeah, and
growth mindset. That's one of my favorite little terms.
Yeah, and you are really big about that.
Yeah.
And growth doesn't require chaos. It doesn't mean this big upheaval. So a lot of people believe that growth must be uncomfortable, it must be dramatic and really easy to see, but sometimes growth feels like staying when you would have run. That's a big thing for me, I would say. Not overcommitting used to be a really big problem for me, not so much anymore.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so, and letting something just stay simple and stay in the course, trusting the process in the day-to-day. Choosing consistency instead of intensity. Oh, yeah, gosh. That, I think we feel a lot of intensity in kind of the workplaces we're at sometimes. And sometimes if you're just consistent, you can dial back the intensity a little bit. And
that's true.
Things get done.
Done is better than perfect.
That's right.
You don't have to make huge changes just to have something to share. You don't need to prove your progress to anyone either. You got to remember, Instagram, social media is very curated. A lot of people don't put, hey, I'm doing this and I'm being consistent. They just put these dramatic changes, and they're really proud of them. That's great. But the real depth comes from sticking with something until it really matters. And that consistency and people maybe showing that, and the accountability is something that is not as pretty and fancy. So people don't show it so much. So you think that people are making these big changes overnight.
Yeah.
And that's just false, really.
Oh, sure. You just see the highlight reel on social media and stuff. So the cost of constant reinvention. If we're always chasing the next version of ourselves, we never really feel at home in our own lives. Enjoy the day in your own skin,
Yeah.
We abandon things too quickly if they're not working out. We question what's already working, self-doubt and all that kind of stuff. We start to think that being steady means that we're stuck, and when it means you're just living your life, really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between being stuck and being stable.
Yeah.
And stability isn't failure. In fact, it's often what lets real change happen when the time is right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a softer way to enter spring, Jer.
Let's do Let's do that. For all you kids out there, we're a softer way to enter this spring. First of all, rest if you have a cold.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually were going to record a few podcasts today, but we're not. We're going to, Jared knows his limits.
Yeah.
And we're going to do one podcast. So that's a real start, you know?
Yeah.
So similar to that, you don't have to go into spring thinking new season, new you. It can be new season, same values.
Yeah.
New season, some small adjustments along the way.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's opening the windows more.
Yeah.
Maybe it's shifting your bedtime by 20 minutes earlier or later, whatever you prefer it to be. Maybe it's sleeping in 20 more minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's editing one commitment a week, a month, whatever, instead of your entire calendar.
Yeah. And all these things will be made better just because it's spring. And
That's
it's not
true.
winter. Yeah, so
That's true. Not so gloomy.
So even if you don't make any changes, it's spring.
Yeah, that's true.
So spring can be about caring for what you have, not starting over. You don't have to change everything just because it's a new season.
That's
Maybe
right.
your socks, but
Every day, hopefully.
yeah.
Okay. So there's some questions that you can reflect on this season. Now that we're kind of wrapping this up, right? What in your life is actually working right now? What if you protected that instead of replacing it? Where are you trying to improve something that's already good? It's okay to grow slowly. It's okay to keep consistent. It's okay to keep what's working. Just stay steady, stay the course, whatever it is.
Spring doesn't require a glow up. Maybe it just needs your attention. If this episode resonated with you or you know someone who might need to hear it, feel free to share it along. That truly means a lot to us.
You can also support the podcast by leaving a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening on. It helps more than you probably realize.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future episodes. You can always find us, the show notes, and the brands that support the podcast at warneradventures.com.
Until next time, here's to the small adventures, the hard ones, and everything in between.
Bye-bye.